without further ado, why don't we turn our attentions to the 2025 World Series, which is going to be between the Los Angeles Dodgers of the National League and the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League. We got a lot of blue going on this year, Nika.
We do.
It is a blue affair, therefore I have colored myself, but I am leaning Blue Jays, if you noticed. I got the powder blues, I got the royal blue, and I got a little splash of red in there. Go Canada. Of course, they are playing Team Japan, the Los Angeles Dodgers. So it is totally an international affair this year. And we're going to be talking about this matchup. But first, before we do, please do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please ring that bell for our mascot, Frexy. Yes, indeed, Frexy. She is one of a kind, and she loves attention, everybody.
Thank you.
She loves you for it. But yes, we do have a World Series happening between LA and Toronto, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. But we are going to be in Shohei Ohtani's world, I think, for the next week.
Even though he's not starting game 1 or 2.
Of course. And I didn't think he was going to, based on the fact that he pitched game 4 in the NLCS, even though they had the week to set it.
I know, but they wanted him at home with the home crowd and all that stuff going on.
That, and plus I think they're in a bit of a rhythm. You know, I think they've had their rotation kind of standard set throughout all of this.
I think
Blake's been going in game 1.
I think Roberts even said that they're gonna continue the rotation that got them.
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well. Yeah.
And I want to say the Dodgers fooled everybody this year. They fooled everybody.
They did.
You know, they
sluggish.
slow played, you know, and they were, if you remember, before the season started, there was all these grandiose predictions of how great of a team they were going to be, what records they were going to break, were they going to challenge the 2001 Mariners? And I think the Dodgers said,
nah,
go ahead, you guys follow that. We're going to play our own game at our own pace.
See you in October.
And right around the end of September, you could just see, once it became obvious that the Padres were not going to be able to catch them, it almost lifted this relief, this weight off their shoulders. And what did they do? They just started to coast through this playoffs. And I really think now, looking at this, even though the Blue Jays have home field advantage in this series, I think the way these games are falling actually favors the Dodgers. Big time.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that? Because if the Dodgers just win one of these first 2 games on the road, they're going to be coming home, you know, and I just feel like it's not the same as like the Mariners, and the LA is going to be tough to beat at home.
So basically, if they don't win road game, that evens out the odds. Is that what you mean by that?
Like, I do. Yeah. I mean, I think the Dodgers, they've been winning on the road all postseason. It doesn't matter if it's Philadelphia, Milwaukee.
Doesn't matter.
No challenge for us.
And Blue Jays struggled at home in the last series.
They did. I mean, they lost the first 2 games to the Mariners, and they almost lost game 7. They were losing with 8 outs left.
I know.
It's terrible, but it happened. And it just seems like the way it's all lining up, you know, that they're playing great on the road. They're locked in. They have their rotation set. You know, I just feel like they fooled everyone. They did. They're going to win this World Series. I have a hard time seeing the Blue Jays compete.
Well, you're not the only one that thinks that. So.
And really, I think this is the World Series that is Ohtani's World Series.
But is that World Series going to final straw that's going to break the camel's back? When it comes to everything else with baseball?
I think some people will look at it that way. I think they're wrong. I think we need to be looking a lot harder at setting some kind of a revenue minimum where you have to reinvest 50.1% of the money you earn back into your team year after year after year. Otherwise, you can get the hell out of MLB.
Yep.
You don't have any business here anymore. And that includes you, Tom Ricketts. Sorry. I don't care what capitalism says. There's also buy rules that we can make as a charter, as an MLB institution, that all 30 teams have to follow. And it's time to spend. It's time to stop pocketing all the parking money and having cruises or luxury vacations and whatever the hell you rich people do.
Yeah.
It's time to end. But I don't think that's the problem. Well, this is Ohtani's World Series. It's his moment, I think, to cement his legacy in a sense that, when you do it in the World Series, if he's able to, hit a couple home runs, it doesn't have to be all in the same game, though that hasn't stopped him before. If he pitches 2 games or if he gets a win and a save or something like that, like all bets are off in the World Series, by the way. He can close now. He can kind of do some of those things without having to worry about, what's going to happen next week.
Right.
There is no next week. There's just one more week. There's 7 games. It's 9-10 days, whatever. So there's no 2 weeks of baseball left. There's just a week and a half.
Yeah, definitely. It will be very interesting to see how many people worldwide tune in just to see him.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
He is a world phenomenon.
Indeed. But it is the chance to really cement and do all the things that Babe Ruth did, just never at the same time, right? Like pitching in the World Series, hitting home runs in the World Series. And
Ohtani will supersede Babe Ruth. It's a modern day Babe Ruth, if you will.
As hard as it can be sometimes to root for the Dodgers in any way, you gotta appreciate what he is. And this is the moment. He's in his prime, and he's not going to be doing this forever. It's just human.
Of course.
So enjoy it while you can. And I'm sure if you're a Dodgers fan, you are going to be enjoying the hell out of it. I think really this is his chance to become legendary. You mentioned like he could become the biggest athlete in the world if he does memorable things right now in this World Series.
Yeah.
But I think if he does pitch amazing, like 10 strikeouts in a game, hits a couple home runs in a World Series, if he does that in one game, it will be so hard for people to ignore.
Absolutely.
It will be too big.
Yeah, he will elevate the whole baseball game if he does all that.
Right ahead of the World Baseball Classic next year, Nika.
He's going to be playing for Team Japan.
Whether or not it causes a work stoppage, we'll save that conversation for another day. But I did want to move on to some of the pitching matchups in this World Series because we now know who the Game 1 starter will be for Toronto. I just saw the tweet come up on my phone as we are recording this. It is going to be Trey Yesavage with the start for the Blue Jays in Game 1 opposite Blake Snell for the Dodgers. And this is a new and improved Blake Snell, everybody. If you have not been watching baseball, if you have been living under a rock, since Blake Snell got activated in August, he's a totally different pitcher.
Yeah.
He has stopped aiming the ball and just throwing the ball.
He pitches.
He is landing his curveball for strikes consistently, which is going to make him even more dangerous and unhittable. He is no longer nibbling, in my view, on the edges of the plate, and he's just rearing back and throwing the ball, and he's not thinking out there.
Yeah.
What's happened as a result? Walks are down big time. Control up big time.
Command.
Pitch count is down big time.
Well,
and therefore, he's now pitching an average of 7 innings in the postseason. This is a guy who 2 years ago with the Padres would struggle to get out of the 5th or 6th inning because of walks, because he was averaging almost 4 walks a game, even though he won the Cy Young.
That's okay. He is pitching in longer into the game versus how he used to.
He used to stress the hell out of me because of these things, even though I know he got out of it a lot of times. It wasn't necessarily fun to watch. It was stressful.
It was.
Now I'm actually looking back and impressed. I'm like, wow, they fixed him. The Dodgers actually fixed Blake Snell.
Somebody did.
It was possible. Yeah. I used to think it was the man. Now I'm second guessing and questioning some of that, but kudos to him. They unlocked this, and it's going to be huge. Yamamoto is doing just as well right behind him, right?
So he's pitching Game 2?
He's pitching Game 2. He's, they both have a whip right now in the postseason of under 1. Blake Snell has a 0.52 whip. He's giving up a half a base runner an inning.
Wow.
Yamamoto, 0.86, less than 1 runner an inning. Not a lot of foot traffic for the Dodgers to deal with. No wonder they are making this look easy, Nika.
Oh, I know.
And now they have the starting pitching that's going deep into games. Yamamoto has 19 innings pitched in 3 starts. Blake Snell has 21 innings pitched in 3 starts.
Wow.
Including an 8-inning game in Milwaukee in game 1 of that series. So, I mean, and it used to be like, oh, he can just pitch well at home. Now he's doing it on the road. Doesn't matter. Philadelphia, doesn't matter. Milwaukee, now Toronto. We'll see. I'm nervous for Toronto with this game. You should be. They haven't faced anybody quite as sharp as Blake Snell has looked in the playoffs yet this postseason. So they can hit all the balls they want. If they can't hit Blake Snell, it won't matter.
And he might be pitching twice in this series if it goes to 7.
Or, well, he would probably be your game 5 starter. I think they're just going to roll with the 4. It's going to be Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and then Ohtani. And that's been their rotation. And then it will reset again. And that means Ohtani would only start game 4 out of a 7-game series. But then he's probably available in game 6 or game 7 out of the bullpen if you want to. If you have a chance to close it out with Ohtani, I won't be shocked if it happens.
Oh, yeah. For bigger oomph at the end.
Well, we did finally get that pitching matchup, but we don't know any of Toronto's other starters yet for game 2, game 3, game 4. We kind of have a much better idea of what the Dodgers are going to be, as we just said. So since we don't have a lot of pitching matchups to break down and talk about, let's go with the next best thing, Nika. MLB puts on their Twitter account here, x.com, World Series Stadium Edition. Who has the better stadium, Dodger Stadium or the Rogers Center? And they have these 2 pictures from the press box looking out to center field straight away of both stadiums. And I
don't know Toronto Stadium. I know the Dodgers one.
We've been to Dodger Stadium twice.
Recommend that.
It's okay. I mean, I think one of our experiences was tainted by rain. And the fact is that Dodger Stadium, if you've never been there, in the outfield bleachers area has some sand that they have like a beach setting a little bit. And when it rains, it's not very pleasant about what it does to the conditions at the stadium. And I think they should maybe reconsider that, even though I know it rains like once every 10 years in LA. It still is. It was a miserable experience for us that day. So I think that does taint our opinion of it. Looking at these pictures, it's hard not to say like, oh, what a majestic Dodger Stadium view of the mountains.
Of course it is majestic because it's on top of the mountain, but getting there is not so majestic.
Yeah, it's a rough journey. It definitely is. Meanwhile, the Rogers Center is a retractable dome, so it can be closed or open depending on the weather.
Nice.
It also has hotel accommodations. It's a whole experience to go to the Rogers Center.
So it's almost like you're going to a Disney.
Kind of. It looks a lot more. It has a lot more bells and whistles to it. Let's put it that way. I'm sure both are great in their own way, but I think I'm gonna choose Toronto here for the modernization. Dodger Stadium needs a paint job.
Oh.
It has like pastel seats and colors, and you can tell that they haven't done. Last year, they like dug up the entire field. Do you remember this? In the off season, they had like trucks and cranes in there, and like how is this thing going to be playable by April? Well, I think they should work on the actual stadium itself instead of just the grass that the players play on, because it is not pretty, guys. It could be so much greater. It's typical LA. It has a great sound system and everything else is just average.
Of course, they did upgrade their sound system, but the sound system doesn't correspond well with everything else in it. It feels outdated. The seating, how you get there, it feels old. It does.
It does feel old, and you know what they should really do is build a ski lift from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the top, and build a tour out of it. You know, like have somebody narrating it or something. We are moving on to some real games, and Nika, I want to talk about Polymarket. Let's talk about who the bettors out there are choosing to win the 2025 World Series. And it should come as no surprise that as of this writing, as of this recording, it is the Los Angeles Dodgers favored 70% to 31 as of this morning.
70-30 to win the whole series, not just the game 1.
Win the whole fucking thing, as they used to say in Major League. That's a movie quote if you didn't know better. Yes, the Dodgers are favored 7 out of 10 times to win it all. Toronto, 31% chance.
Well, there's a chance.
There's
30%.
a chance, yeah. I'm surprised they gave him this much, honestly. I'm
Well, they
surprised
do.
and I know you don't want to make it too unbalanced, probably, and that there's probably a lot of hopeful money on the Blue Jays right now.
Yes.
That's more what I think is happening.
That the Blue Jays gonna challenge the Dodgers. They should be able to challenge the Dodgers because they do have sluggers. They do have pitching.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Blue Jays want any chance of pulling off what I think is just an upset in this World Series, they have to hit
Early and keep adding.
and often. You know, they cannot ever think that they can let up off the gas I mean, they have to win these first two at home too. They cannot relinquish home field advantage this soon in the series.
Oh, no, that sets up the tone for the whole series.
Oh yeah, even if it goes back to LA 1-1, I mean, you're going to be in a world of hurt, I
Yes.
think.
Absolutely.
So the only chance that I think they have is to win these first two games. And then maybe you put enough pressure on the Dodgers where they start to doubt themselves. But they're playing so good right now that I don't think one loss is going to trip them up or anything like that. You really need to put them in a hole.
Absolutely. But also, they've been resting a lot longer than the Blue Jays.
Yes. And do you think that that's going to have a positive or a negative effect on the game?
It could go both
At least
ways.
from their play.
It could go both ways because sometimes you see players coming out of longer rest time and they just do well.
You know, I'm going to say that the Dodgers, because they have such a veteran lineup, Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, obviously, that the layoff doesn't hurt them. They're just too experienced. They've had their 10,000 at bats already. If they were a younger mix, but every player on their lineup is a veteran with experience or a role, or they at least know their role.
One thing I would say about that is the rhythm of the game, because you've been out of playtime for 6-7 days now. Your rhythm might be off, but that only counts for 1, maybe 2 games.
100%. These 4 guys that I just mentioned all did it last year against the Yankees. They had this break last year. I don't think it was as long because the Dodgers didn't sweep and get to against the Mets at least.
I do remember them coming out of the bye week and being sluggish, but that was last year again because they did have a bye week.
They lost one of the first 2 against the Padres.
Right.
And then it went back to San Diego, and I think that's why everyone felt like the Padres were then going to win that series because they had taken the momentum away a little bit. And then they won game 3 on top of it, so they had 2 cracks at it. But the Dodgers do not go away easily. They don't panic.
That's right.
And again, this goes back to what we said at the beginning about slow playing. You know, it seems like no matter what happens to them or whatever obstacles come in their way, it's just, okay, whatever. We don't panic.
They don't panic.
I think Roberts came as close to cracking as he might come this year with what happened with the bullpen and Tanner Scott specifically. I think that was the biggest shock of all to the Dodgers organization was that happened. And yet here they are. They weathered it. They got through it. And like I said, once they got past the Padres back in September, when they knew that they weren't going to lose the division, it's been easy breezy for them ever since. So now I want to ask about Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette has become a big topic of conversation in this series because he has been out for Toronto since September 6th. And he has been working and rehabbing and trying to get healthy, and now he is ready, apparently.
Okay.
But Toronto is still unsure about putting him on the roster because they've been playing without him.
Right.
And it's like you're going to have to lose somebody to give him that spot. And I think it's becoming a tough choice for them. Andres Jimenez is playing shortstop for them right now, and he's doing it at a very high level. And Bo Bichette was kind of a liability defensively from time to time. It was one of the knocks against him. And then this year, he wasn't hitting as good before these injuries, so he was kind of having an unproductive season. So what are your thoughts on that? Knowing everything we know about Bo Bichette, this is a guy that was once touted as one of the young stars in the game. And I know that the establishment loves to bump these guys up and pump them up, but
we're not the establishment.
we are
for
not
starters.
the establishment. What do you think?
I think stick with the guys that got you to where you're at the moment, and continue with that group. Bo Bichette, I'm sorry, you were injured. There's the next season.
100%. I hear you, and yet I want to throw out something and see what you say. 2016 Cubs, Kyle Schwarber came back for the World Series alone, and wasn't he a hero in that series?
Yes, he was.
It's possible. That's the only argument I'm trying to make here, is that just to say he wasn't here for the whole run does not mean that he's automatically invaluable. We have historical evidence. Do you want to have his bat off the bench in a big moment if you need it? I'm just asking the question.
Is he a clutch guy?
Is he clutch? I don't know. What does the internet say? Is Bo Bichette a clutch hitter? Yes, Bo Bichette is widely considered a clutch hitter, with multiple sources citing him as one of the most clutch performers in MLB.
Oh,
What a bunch of word salad that is. Thank you, Google AI.
well, that changes things, I guess, puts things into perspective.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the toughest roster decisions I can remember in a long time for a team. And
What happens?
Sports
if you
Illustrated is saying it as well, Nika.
Oh, really?
It's not just me saying it. Sports Illustrated is saying it too. Michael Browner yesterday, the Toronto Blue Jays may have a very tough call on their hands.
Right.
I saw Bob Nightingale tweet during this recording that Bo Bichette is healthy and has been cleared, but now the decision has to be made. Like they don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's a tough decision.
I think if he
because-
gets left off the roster, he's done with the Blue Jays. He will not play for them again.
That's
but
right.
if he comes back and does something heroic and memorable, he will probably play for them for the rest of his career.
Well, this is his final year with the Blue Jays,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Well, it's a tough decision.
It is a very, very tough decision.
Because what are you going to do? Like, if you lose, are you pointing your finger later saying, we should have had Bo Bichette on the roster? Or you just live with the decision and move on?
Yeah, it's a big time decision. I'm gonna make a prediction here. I'm gonna say he gets left off.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna make the postseason roster, and I think his days as a Toronto Blue Jay are over. So take that for what you will. Polymarket. There's no Polymarket for this, by the way, but this is Kenny's market.
Okay,
and that's
Kenny's
my
market.
that's my prediction. 100%. Bo Bichette will not play in the World Series, and
I
it could
can't
be a
disagree
mistake.
with that.
It could
It
be a
could
mistake
be.
depending on the historical precedents you put on Kyle Schwarber's 2016 performance. But
Kyle Schwarber and Bo Bichette are two very different
yeah,
players.
but Kyle Schwarber was not the Kyle Schwarber of today in 2016. Come on, he was
That's
still
true.
like a second year player. So I just and he had been out all season with an injury all season, and they felt he was valuable enough to put on the team.
Well, Kyle is a baseball nerd.
I get it, but
Is Bo Bichette?
I don't know enough about him to know whether or not he is or isn't. I just like to point out these things. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
You know, I predict also if he's left off the roster, a moment will come up in one of the games that would have been like perfect for him to pinch hit.
Of
in.
course, baseball is
Baseball will do that to you.
yes.
All right. Well, Polymarket. I don't know if I'd be betting on the Blue Jays. I know it's tempting because you can make 70 cents on every
Of course you
dollar.
can.
Oh, it is fun to watch.
And
All right, let's do the
predictions,
predictions. Let's do predictions, and then we'll get out of here. Nika,
Okay.
I'm going to start with you ladies first. Who is going to win the 2025 World Series between Team Japan and Canada's team, the Toronto Blue Jays?
I will take the Dodgers, but it will go 7 games.
Ooh. So let me get this straight. You have LA winning a game 7 on the road. They do what the Mariners were unable to do.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Dodgers in 5. I don't think this is going back to Toronto.
Okay.
I think
So basically you're saying they're going to sweep?
if they win the first 2 in Toronto, I think it's going to be a sweep. If they split, which is where I think it's going to go, I think it gets done in 5.
Okay.
But I do think the Dodgers will win game 1. I think Schnell stays on target because he's unlocked something amazing lately. I think Yamamoto's the one that gets knocked around a little bit in game 2. He's been a little bit more susceptible, I feel like.
He has.
Not that he's much, but the whip, I mean, 0.86 to 0.52. I mean, that's a considerable uptick when you look at whip, So Blake's just been that much sharper.
Do you think Ohtani's going to have a home run in the first game?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Me too.
I do. I just feel like it's his. I go back to the beginning. This is Shohei Ohtani's moment to basically show the world what they've been missing out on.
Okay. Sure.
And I think this is almost like, he's already had his arrival in Major League Baseball. Like, oh, he's arrived. You
Sure.
always hear them say, like, and we're all waiting for Caleb Williams to arrive for the Bears. And we're waiting patiently, mind you. I think this is when Ohtani arrives on the world stage, as he'll be put up next to Ali, next to Michael Jordan, next to Tiger Woods, next to the greatest of the greats that have existed in the past 50, 75 years.
Okay.
100%.
Sure.
I mean, and I guess if you want to throw Babe Ruth in there, you can. I'm not leaving him out for any reason. It's just that he's not from the last 75 years.
You're talking about more modern sports.
Yeah,
the way
exactly. And I think Ohtani would replace Babe Ruth, honestly, if you were doing a Mount Rushmore of like every sport where you had Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan. I don't know who you would put for football.
I'm sure there's somebody.
I guess Tom Brady. No one's won more than him. So I was thinking older at first, and then I was like, oh wait, Tom Brady, dumbass. No, yeah. So I think this is when Ohtani becomes part of the Mount Rushmore of professional sports legends, and he knocks off. I mean, how can you ignore it?
So who will be the player to watch on Blue Jays?
Well, I think whenever you have games and series like this, you got to turn to your stars. And
So Vlad.
So for me, I'm going to be watching Vlad Jr. and also George Springer. Don't underestimate that clutch gene in the playoffs that he has shown now with the Blue Jays. He's shown it for years with the Astros. I wouldn't underestimate that.
Yeah. So he's more likely to win the World Series MVP on the Blue Jays side.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, me too.
But Vlad Jr. also, like, he has been on a tear this offseason, and I just feel like the whole success of the Blue Jays hinges on whether or not he can win World Series MVP. If he can play at an MVP level, then maybe the Blue Jays have a chance. Maybe. That's what's funny about it. It maybe gives them a chance. That's how good the Dodgers are playing right now, and I just can't ignore it. It's painful for me to like see the Dodgers winning this so easily. I want people to know that, and it's not because I'm anti-Dodger by any means. I knew that they were there for the taking this year, and no one took it from them.
Yeah.
And now they're just coasting.
Yeah.
They're confident, and it's over, as
It's
they
over.
say.
Yep.
Good luck, Toronto. Maybe you can stick that space needle right up their ass.
On their way out. We got you.
Right on the way back to Hollywood. But I don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Well, we're going to be watching the first game tomorrow. So.
We will. Enjoy the World Series, everybody.